students, what's up? Doing good? Yes, even I am doing well here. So students, we have completed our civics lesson number 1, right? Yes. So in this video, we are going to start our second chapter from civics. Okay, but before starting our second lesson, shall we have a short recap of what we have learned in first lesson? So basically it was all about understanding diversity. So when we say understanding diversity, then what is diversity? Diversity is nothing but the state of being different, that state of being unique is diversity. Why is this diversity so important? Why can't we all be same? Why do we have to be different? If we all are same, it can be in terms of our looks, interest, habits, behavior, the life would become so boring. The world would be so boring, right? So we can say this diversity will add a beauty to our life and makes this world complete. Okay? As we say, no, the colors, all different colors will make everything look so beautiful. The same way, people that who are diverse from each other will make this world so beautiful. Yes. Now we have seen what are the bases for people being diverse from each other. First is religion. We see that many religions are being followed in India. They all are different from each other, starting from Hinduism to Christianity. Every religion is being followed and all the festivals related to these religions are celebrated in India. Then next, coming to the social status. Now as we were talking about religion, a particular religion is again divided into number of caste and subcaste, and these are so much deep rooted in our society that even after so many years of independence we are not able to come over it yet. Then we are having economic status. That means all the people living in India or in the world, we can say that they are not having equal amount of money. Few people are rich and few are more. With the time, the rich are becoming even more richer and the poor are becoming even more poorer. Okay, so these are the major differences. Now, if you remember, we have studied case study of two different places. That we can say regional diversity. We have studied about Ladakh, which is in the northern part of the India, and Kerala, which is in the southern part of the India. It shows that people, when they are belonging to different geographical areas, their lifestyle will be influenced with it. Okay, as the land forms, availability of resources, everything will be depending. Yes. So this was all about the diversity that existed. Now do you think when people are so different from each other in India, do they always clash? Do they always fight among themselves? Yes, sometimes it happens. But as I said, only sometimes. Rest of the times we always believe in unity in diversity. We can take it in the example of when all Indians together have fought with courage and bravery with Britishers to get our freedom back. Yes? So this was just one example when we can say that there is unity in diversity in India. So we have seen a recap of our civics lesson number 1. Now again, before going to our lesson number 2, I have few questions for you. Now imagine a student that there are 3 children who are going to write an exam. Now suppose ABC, they are 3 students that are going to write an exam. Now one A belongs to a government school, B belongs to a CBSE school just like us, and C belongs to international schools. Okay. Now what do you think? Whom among these 3 would score the highest marks in the exam? Whom according to you would be the topper? Would become the topper with provided same question paper, same time, same training, same teacher, everything. Then what do you think? What is your opinion? Think about it. Till then, I have one more question for you. Now in an organization, students, we have thousands of people working. Okay, now let's take an example of 3 people. Again, that is a normal employee, a manager, and the owner of the company. Who do you think will work more hard? Whose hard work will be more so that the company can become a very huge success or they can develop in their own life? Who do you think? Thought about it? You are ready with your answer? Yes. Now, whether it is in the first scenario or in the second scenario, all of you would have selected different people on different bases. Now, what are we doing here? Do we know those people personally? Do we know the students, or do we know the people who are working in an organization? How can we say that one particular student, whether he is from government school or international school or a CBSE school, would top? Do we know them? Have we seen that they have prepared properly? How can we come to a conclusion that any of them would become the highest scorer of the exam? Or do we know, on the other hand, the employee, the manager, or the owner who is working more harder? How can we come to a conclusion just like that? So here, when we are just finally making a judgment about a person or about a people without knowing about them completely, this is called as prejudice. Okay. So basically the definition of prejudice is when we make judgment, when we form an idea about someone without actually knowing anything about them. Okay, in the first scenario we saw a student is from a government school also. Who knows that he is very talented, he is very dedicated, he would have prepared for the exam so very well that even he could emerge as a topper, right? Then how can we say? Few of you might have chosen the government school person also, right? But still again, we are making a judgment. We are forming an idea without knowing the person. The two scenarios, what we have just seen, are the examples of prejudice. Okay. Now this prejudice can be on many bases. Now, few prejudices are so very, we can say they are very funny. They say that people who are wearing specs are good at studies. That means they might have got specs as they would be studying day and night, only indulge in the book and concentrate on the studies, and then only they are becoming the toppers. Is it true always? Yes, there might be students who are very good, the ones who have specs. But will it be true in all the cases? We may not know. So here also we are coming to a judgment without knowing the person. Kind of prejudice what we usually find, that the one who are good in the studies will only concentrate on education, and they will not be interested in other co-curricular activities like sports or dance, music. They will not have any interest towards these things. Okay. Now, students, as we have seen in our earlier lesson, that we are having a lot of diversity in our country, right? So these prejudice also emerges from the diversity that we are having in India. We are saying we are diverse, we are saying that we are having unity in diversity. But do you think all are treated equally and nobody is suffering because of these prejudice? Yes, we are suffering. There are many people who are suffering because of the prejudice. Now, in this lesson, we will be seeing further what can be the effects of the prejudice, what is the impact of such prejudice and such thoughts over the life of the different people. So, here we come that our lesson name is diversity and discrimination. Fine. So, as we have started with prejudice, now we were saying that it is also related to the diversity that exists in our country. Now, if we have to relate, there are many prejudices that exist on the basis of religion, on the basis of accent that people talk in. Now, suppose we usually see, right, the people who belongs to a village or government school maybe. It is a prejudice that prevails in many of the people's mind, that they are not educated because their accent is different. They pronounce school as school. So we have seen a cinema, right? The name of the picture itself was Smart Shankar. Usually, how do we pronounce it? Smart Shankar. But how are they pronouncing it? Smart Shankar. So usually the people with different accent will be considered that they are not properly educated. They know how to. Now it can also be on the basis of the color of their skin. Black people, they are very dirty and they are very low, inferior to the people who are white in color. And it can also be on the basis of the clothes they wear. Suppose if a person is in dhoti, then how do we consider? There are many people who consider that people who wear dhoti are not educated, they are uneducated. Then the person who is wearing suit is educated, he will be very well behaved, he is educated. These are the such prejudice that exist in our society. That comes with our diversity. Yes. Now there's a task for you. I want you all to write 5 qualities that exist in boys and girls according to you. Okay, you just have to mention 5 qualities that belongs to boys and 5 for the girls, whatever you feel like. Okay, so this is your task. Now one such question was given to one of the person or many students. So the outcome was like for boys they have given the qualities like they are physically strong, okay, they are good at sports, they are rude, they will be naughty, and such things were mentioned about the boys. Whereas for the girls the qualities assigned were soft spoken, sweet, emotional, okay, and they are good at cooking, they are good at painting, they are good at dance. And one more important thing that was given to the boys is that they don't cry. Okay, so these are the few things that were given for both boys and girls as a group of people. Clear? Now if we have to talk that a quality assigned to a boy that they don't cry, what do you think? Is it a good quality or a bad quality? What is wrong in crying? Is there something wrong? No, right? It is a very natural thing that is given by God to all of us. Whenever we feel sad, whenever we feel cry. Okay, so there is nothing wrong in it. But the type of things that are told to the people, or we can say particular to the boys, from the time they are growing. That means if suppose you are learning how to walk and you fell. Obviously, as the pain, the reaction would come, you will be start crying. Fine. Now, what usually these boys would be told, don't cry, you are boy, boys will be brave and they don't cry. Is it so? We all cry, right? Whenever we feel sad, it's okay. Now, when all these things are being taught to the boys from a very early age, they also develop all these things in their mind. Yes, boys are brave, they don't cry, they are strong. So, they all start developing all such thoughts in their brain. And whenever they feel sad, they don't cry because they think that if they cry, they would be considered they are weak, they are not strong, and they might be teased by the other people. They may say like, why are you crying? Are you a girl? Is it so? Do only girls cry? No, we all cry when we are sad. Yes. Now another quality that is assigned to the girls, that they are very gentle, very polite. They will be talking very smoothly, okay, very softly. Now what about the girls who don't talk like this? They may have their own style of talking. And what about the girls who are naughty? Can we say that girls are not at all naughty? We all know, right? Yes, girls can also be very naughty. Now what do we tell about such girls? Can we say that they are bad girls? No, it is just they are different from each other. That is what we are calling it as diversity. Each and every person is different and unique. Yes. So now when we are saying that boys will be having such kind of qualities, girls will be having such kind of qualities, that means we are giving a general qualities, generalization of such qualities to the group of people. We are not saying that Ram as a boy, Sita as a girl. We are not assigning for a particular person. We are giving it to a group of people. So when we give such generalizations or when we give such assumptions, we call it as stereotypes. What is stereotype? Stereotype is nothing but a fixed idea or belief that people make about a person or a group of people. Okay, or usually these will be a kind of negative and always looking somebody as inferior. And when they form an idea or belief about particular person, they think that to whatever group this person is belonging, all other members would also have similar qualities. Now suppose there are 5 girls in a class. One girl is very gentle, soft spoken, emotional. Then they start assuming that all the girls will have those qualities only. Okay. And when we are talking about boys, they say that they don't cry, they are very strong. Okay, related to this, students, there is a dialogue in a Hindi movie. It says, "Mard ko dard nahi hota." That means a man never gets hurt. Okay, he never feels the pain. Is it so? What do you think? Okay, so suppose your younger or your elder brother or sister comes and pinch you. Won't you feel the pain? You will be feeling pain at that moment, right? So all these things that we see in the movie are not always true. We should not always follow them blindly. Fine. So another definition what we can give about these stereotypes is that they are generalizations or the assumptions that people make about a group of people. Fine. So now what are the different stereotypes that we come to know, that we come around are: women only belong to the kitchen. They have to take care about the family only. Then can we say that men are not good at handling the family? They cannot take care of the children properly? No. Both women and men can do this work very greatly. Only men will join the army. Don't we have women soldiers in our army, students? Yes, we are having women soldiers also, and they are doing very great in their job. Okay, now where we say that there are many people, we hear them saying women cannot compete with men, that there cannot be any competition because men are always superior and women are inferior. But we see now almost in every field women are equal to the men, but sometimes we can see they are even superior to the men. So when we are making all these assumptions when related to gender, okay, these are called as gender stereotypes. Now let's see a clipping which tells where you can understand more about this gender stereotypes.
Types are all around us, and whether we like it or not, both grown-ups and kids are influenced by them. Gender stereotypes can be described as oversimplified and overgeneralized beliefs about what men and women are like and what traits and behaviors are expected of them or considered appropriate. Before our littles are even born, these stereotypes are there in the form of gifts we receive when we announce our pregnancies. These gifts usually range from bows and onesies with the words, "Mommy's little princess" for our not yet born girls, and trucks and "Daddy's little hunk" for our boys. After our kiddos are born, the gendering continues with the language we use, suggesting that boys are tough and girls are delicate. Gender stereotypes also show up in the toys that our kiddos are encouraged to play with. Most people offer dolls, cooking sets, or art supplies to girls, and toy trains, trucks, or tools to boys, often without a second thought to the child's actual preferences. A trip to a typical children's clothing store will offer overwhelming amounts of pink and purple for girls, and blue and green for boys, with more form-fitting, body-conscious designs for girls and looser, active designs for boys. As our babies grow, we may encounter gender stereotypes outside our homes, within friend groups, at school, and on the playground. Boys might hang out with other boys and play tag or soccer, and girls might hang out with girls and play house or princesses. Okay, these are generalizations, but you get the idea. Even in our homes, we may find ourselves encouraging girls to help with the laundry and cooking, and boys with lawn maintenance or taking out the trash, routing them into chores associated with the genders. We might discourage boys from crying and encourage girls to pick dance over robotics class. Where do these stereotypes and generalizations come from? They aren't simply built into our biology. We learn them like language. We learn them through our interactions with others, through ads and social media, through the way our actions and appearances are labeled by others. We are influenced by our parents, friends, and the world around us. Is there anything wrong with these stereotypes? Not necessarily. It's perfectly fine for a girl to love pink and sparkles, or a boy to love race cars and football. A sizable number of kids will gravitate toward gender-typical preferences, even when given free access to the whole range of toys and interests. The problem arises when those stereotypes limit the goals our kids strive for or the type of person they believe they can be. The same person might like to wrestle their dad, wear a glitter t-shirt, and imagine themselves as a firefighter. Give your kids choices from a young age and see what they pick for themselves. The key is awareness that these stereotypes do exist, and what you do with them is up to you.
So students, as we have seen that these kind of stereotypes are being taught to the people or to the children from a very young age. As we can see, or we can all see around us also, there are colors also fixed for the for boys and the girls. Pink, purple for girls, blue, green for boys. Occupations, what occupations they are supposed to follow, what are the, it also depends on the work given at home for them. Usually for girls, cooking, and any outside work is given for the boys. So all these things we think we should stop. Now when we are talking about the stereotypes, it is not always related to gender. It can also be for other things, like it can also be for the appearance of the people. As we were saying that speds, the students who have speds are considered to be more studious. Okay, they are always indulged in studies. Is it true always? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, and they also say that people who wear speds look more intelligent. Okay, they say in this way. And it can also be on the basis of the place where live. People living in the city are very arrogant, rude, money-minded, and they are not at all helpful. Whereas people living in the villages, they are very helpful, kind-hearted, very well-behaved. So these are the stereotypes that people talk, or on the basis of the region they belong from. There are many stereotypes that comes with the religion also. Now, one of the stereotype regarding to this religion is, they say that Muslim girls are not getting educated as they are not interested in the studies. But as few people have done research on it, when they have started to study, is it true? Is this the stereotype true? They have come to know that it is not the lack of interest, it is the lack of economic support, because of which they are not able to study. That we can consider not only in the case of Muslims, it can be in the case of any other religion or any other caste. If they are not having proper economic support, they would not be able to go and get good education. But there are states who are providing good facility, and there we can see there is a increase in the girls who are getting educated. One such state is Kerala, where the literacy rate of girls is very high. Now, how is it possible? How are the Muslim girls or the people from low caste or Dalits are able to get educated there? Because the distance from the house and school is very less, and the teachers who teach mostly they are female, and there is a very good government bus provided for these teachers who can go to those rural areas and teach them. Usually we say, right, we prefer living in the cities because we have lot of facilities. So many people will hesitate going and working in the rural areas. So to remove that hassle, to remove that problem also, government is providing a government bus so that they can go and teach the students. In such states, we see that girls from all the backgrounds are coming and getting educated, and they are not dropping out. That means we see that after primary education, that means till 5th, they study and they drop out. They don't continue their studies. In such states, they are studying and they are achieving a lot in their life. But what about the states who are not providing these facilities? In such states, not only the girls from Muslim family, also from other backgrounds are also not able to get any proper education. So finally, we can draw a conclusion that interest or the religion is not the barrier for the girls to not get educated. It is actually the poverty. So students, now we have seen about different kinds of prejudice, different kinds of stereotypes that exist in our society. Now what about their effect on our lives? Will they affect us? Can they affect us? Yes, they affect us very much. Now suppose when we are talking about gender stereotypes, they say that girls should opt only cooking, they should learn only painting. What about the girls who are interested in joining the army, they want to do some job like software or hardware? These stereotypes will stop them from doing all these things. Now when we can say that there is a threat from these stereotypes, now let's understand it with the help of an example. Now there are two group of students, group A and group B. They all are equally talented, equally able to qualify anything. When there is a test conducted, in the first test both the groups have scored equal marks. They both are on equal stage now. Now here comes the entry of the stereotype. Now this says that the people or the students who are in group B are not good at studies. They are not interested. How much ever they try, they may not be able to score good marks in the exam. So when all these things are being heard by the students in the group B, what is the effect? Now there's an exam again conducted between the group A, group B, same time given, same question paper. When the result is out, group A have scored again the same what they have scored earlier, but there is a decrease in the score of group B. That means the performance have decreased. So the stereotypes can affect on the performance of a person. Now this was on a person. Now what about the people on a group? Now we say that there are many Dalits or untouchables. When we constantly say that, don't you think that they get demotivated, they get discouraged, and all these things will lead to some kind of disabilities, or we can say they lack that confidence in themselves. Yes, so this prejudice, stereotypes will stop us from seeing people as a different person, as a different or a unique person. As we say, the definition of diversity is itself the person being unique and different, right? So we cannot see, we will be just seeing the barriers which comes in between, the color, the caste, the religion, the place they belong to, or their appearance. Beyond this, we are never able to see the person as a unique identity. Students, now let's see a clipping which talks more about this prejudice and stereotypes that exist in our society.
Diversity and discrimination. Hello students. So far we understood diversity, but sometimes understanding is not enough. It is a human nature to acknowledge and appreciate people who look or behave alike to us. Thus, often knowingly, we discriminate or ridicule those who are different. Indians had been known to have all of world's 8 religion participants. There are over 1600 languages spoken and hundreds of dance variations, yet sometimes we forget to celebrate our diversity. Let's have a closer look at that. Often in life, we create stereotypes of people and reserve our opinions for them based on that. It is common to fall prey to our prejudice and not look beyond our belief system. Stereotypes stop us from looking at each person as a unique individual with his or her own skill sets, and thus they fall prey to inequality and discrimination. Common stereotypes. Boys don't cry, as it is a sign of weakness. City people are lazy and cunning. Village people are simple-minded and hardworking. Muslims don't send their girls to study as they are not interested. However, that is mainly because of poverty. People who collect garbage are impure or dirty. Caste system. People who believe in caste systems place people on different sets of ladders. Those on the top consider themselves as superior and call themselves upper class, while group on bottom are unworthy, untouchables, Dalit. They were appointed certain duties and could only work on them. Also, they faced prejudice based on that. Traveling from one place to another was difficult for untouchable, and moment people were informed about untouchable in the proximity, an alliance was formed to ridicule them, and no amount of money ensured their ease.
As we were discussing that these prejudices and stereotypes are merely the thought or assumptions what we make, but when we start take actions on it, when we start changing our behavior because of these prejudice and stereotypes, it leads to the discrimination, and most of the times we start disrespecting the other people. Okay, now for example, if we say that English is very important language, does that mean the other languages are not good? They are not useful to us? Yes, of course. English is a way or a window to the world. We can get a lot of opportunities if we have knowledge of English. But doesn't mean that other languages that we are learning from our childhood, for example, we can say our own mother tongue is not good enough. Now in the next video, students, we will be seeing how can the stereotypes or the prejudice will lead to the discrimination, and what are the different bases for people being discriminated in India, and how is their life affected, or only common people, or the leaders or the many famous people also getting affected with it. So till then, students, take care, have a good time, bye bye.